where from that Google will take that particular project. I'm giving you just an example. We are going towards the definition of research when you are going to IPR. Now, what exactly IPR is? You have a number of ideas in your mind. You have a number of definitions in your mind. But before going to it, how this particular research as a part of IPR plays an important role in your curriculum or academics. So, the procedures which are given in the different books, they have been reported by someone first time. Okay, so you synthesize benzene diazole, if I am not wrong. You have synthesized it in organic chemistry. You might have synthesized phenytoin from benzene and diethylphenol. You might have prepared some, say, or you might have worked on N-octanol water partition coefficient experiment in your physical pharmacy. So where from these procedures come? These procedures might have been established by someone first time. They have been reported somewhere, and that particular data has been taken or compiled by Google in his book or any other book from where you are taken. Now, the person who has discovered that particular procedure or established that particular procedure first time, he or she is known as an inventor of that particular. Now, what exactly the research is? There are different definitions. So, to find something new, it is research. As far as pharmacy is concerned, we are concerned with pharmacy. As far as IPR is concerned, IPR is a very vast area where we, if you see the definitions since we are a part of science, we should restrict towards the definition of research in case of science. Now, there are many students who are working in art, commerce. They are also working on different research projects. But here, as far as science is concerned, research is nothing but to find something new. Research is nothing but addition of knowledge to the existing stock of knowledge. Can you give me an example of addition of knowledge to the existing stock of knowledge? Yes, knowledge is already there, but something has been added to the existing stock. It is also research according to the definitions which are given to. There are many examples. So, you are students of medicinal chemistry. If I am not wrong, some of the drugs which have been reported as an antifungal, they have been extensively used as an anti-cancer catalog. Example, 5-fluorouracil. Yes, pyrimidine skeleton. That particular drug has been discontinued with some reasons as far as toxicity is concerned, but it has been used. Now there are concepts of repurposing now. Have you heard about repurposing? There are different advancements in the science where drug with X activity has now been used with Y activity. Knowledge is already there, molecule is already existing, that particular molecule. It needs to be explored with some other aspects. One more example, have you heard about cyclohexane in school? You might have heard across. So, all NSAIDs, classical non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, they are having anti-inflammatory activity because of inhibition of COX-2, but they are not selective, they were inhibiting COX-1 also, and because of it we are getting side effects of gastric irritation. So as the new class has been evolved, that is COX-2, selective COX inhibitors like rotoroxib, that was existing knowledge. But now, new advancements in the knowledge is involvement of that particular COX in the cancer process. With that particular knowledge, research is involvement of COX-2 in cancer. Another research is involvement of COX-2 in Alzheimer's disease. Now, with that few people are working on it. So how this particular anti-inflammatory drugs can be used as anti-cancer, or they can be used. So, research, it is nothing but to find something, addition of knowledge to the existing stock of knowledge. Give me some scientific explanation first time for any of the naturally occurring process. For example, the explanation given by Newton at that time. The process is naturally occurring, but nobody has thought the way by which he has thought. And he has given the explanation scientifically first time, and that's why we are calling it again research. Now, whatever the research findings are there, in the next era of human development, these particular findings needs to be protected by some laws. And the topic which I am going to talk about, that is not, we can say, complete discussion about IPR. It would say 3-4 hours. But in this particular short session, I am going to talk on what exactly IPR. It is giving us some legal protection for the concepts that we have. So, if you have one concept, and with that particular concept, you explore in the laboratory, you work out in the laboratory as a part of your post graduation, and that concept you work on, and you feel that this concept will be helpful for development of science. Why researchers are working? Researchers are always working for the development of science. And science is developing only because whatever the work has been carried out in the laboratory, that has been shared by the researchers. Sharing, it is one of the ways why science is growing. Just now I give the example of Newton. Newton would have thought at that time, I will not share my discovery technically. Then what happened? No, we cannot give the example of Newton. I am giving the example of Newton. Why? Because he has shared it. He has shared the first law of Newton at that time. Because of that sharing, there was a criticism. Second law has been committed. And science is growing. So, expansion of science or advancements of the technology is totally depending on how researchers are sharing their views, scientific views to the scientific community. And that sharing helps in advancements of the science as well as knowledge. And with that view, even if that sharing is required, there are different platforms. One platform is publication, where it is open for all. I am sharing my scientific discovery to the scientific community by publishing my work in a suitable journal. Second aspect, I want to share it, but I want to get the protection of it. I feel that no one should reproduce that particular experiment without my permission. So I want to hold that particular concept with my name. So the concept of IPR. Now IPR, it is legal aspect as far as giving protection to the ideas that you have worked on together. Why protection is essential? Yes, anybody? To avoid duplication of the work. See, if you are giving some time for any concept in the lab, it is your right to get the credit of that particular work. Getting credit, it is not sufficient if suppose that particular idea will have a commercial value. And since the idea is of yours, you have the first right to claim on the financial credits which are paid out. Now what people are thinking, I have worked in the lab, I got the results, I will not disclose. And if that particular idea remains in the notebook, thinking is an autonomous process. I cannot prevent others thinking. The way I am thinking today, at the same time, 10,000 researchers in the different parts of the world, they are thinking. Are you agree with this? The way I am thinking now, or you are thinking now, the same line, thousands of people might have thinking. So if you have an idea, if you want to work in the lab, if suppose you have worked in the lab, then it is very much essential to get the credit of that particular idea. Now getting credit in terms of publication, that is one aspect, but getting legal protection for that particular idea so that for 20 years or 25 years or for a particular period, that idea should not be copied by you. There are different cases in the court where who is the first inventor of that particular idea. So if you search on Google, particular case which is in Merck, USA, and one of the Indian company about the first inventor of that particular idea. Now, invention, it is nothing but to find something new. Inventive step, it is again a part of invention, where some of the aspects of that particular invention has been modified and presented. Now, as far as IPR is concerned, in the Indian context, in the context of pharmaceutical industry, it is very much useful. So, getting credit or protecting your invention, it is most important. That's why IPR plays an important role. Yes. What are the different aspects that I am going to cover in this particular class? here what exactly intellectual property is, why it should be protected. I have given just explanation for it. Getting credit if it is having some commercial value. Then you are the first authority to have the proper control of that particular commercial value. So as far as IPR is concerned, this particular IPR, it covers all the aspects, how intellectual property is protected, and what are the different forms of IPR. Different forms of IPR, it includes patent, it includes copyright, it includes trade, cover all the aspects here. So basically, IPR, it is most important area as far as getting protection about your ideas are concerned. Now, why you need to think on that line? The reason is, if you want to enter in the area of pharmaceutical industry, you should know what exactly you are working on. How a novelty to the concept can be added. Novelty is a relative term. What do you mean by novelty? Something new. Okay, it is a relative term. Previously, it was considered as it is novel or it is not novel, but now it is a relative term. For example, a particular molecule, it is giving some biological activity. Quinazolone nucleus, it is considered as, there are a number of drugs like imatinib, gepitinib. These are kinase inhibitors, protein kinase inhibitors as an anti-cancer. Now, replacement of hydroxy group by some other group, it will either increase or decrease the activity. So it is, yes, that particular core, it has been reported, but some modification in that particular core, it leads to increase or decrease in the activity. So that will be a partial novelty. If I am discovering some molecule first time and I am giving to the market, it is completely novel concept. But if I am modifying the existing structure and giving some, showing some gradation of activity, either increase or decrease, that is a partial novelty. So utility of existing concept or expansion of concept, we are calling it. It is a partial novelty. So novelty is a relative term. Whenever we are working in the lab, so you might have synthesized charcoal. Have you synthesized charcoal in the lab? Benzylidine acidophenone. I have given the example of phenytoin where you have synthesized it from benzene and urea. You have added ethanol, you have refluxed it for say 1 hour or 2 hours. But if I will add a pinch of catalyst in it, I am not requiring say 1 hour. I require only 10 minutes. So initial process, it was reported, but I have made certain modifications. So this is nothing but a partial novelty as far as research is concerned. So anything which you invented, it may be completely novel or partially novel, it needs to be protected with the help of this particular copyright. That's why copyright, intellectual property rights plays an important role. It can be patented. There are different procedures which are given, and whenever I will get some time later on, I will cover in much detail about what exactly this particular copyright is and what are the different steps involved in. Okay. Anything else you want to ask about this? No? Thank you. So it is a very big